Hello, all. Thank you for attending our Real Talk Live. My name is Laurel Moody, and I'll be your host for today. With me, have joined with me is the Hope team at Roberta's house, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Marcia Sneed. I'm a family support specialist for the Hope team.
Hello, my name is Latoya Phillips. I'm a family support specialist and also an angel mom. I'm one out of four moms who have been affected by infant loss. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Clara Annabelle, and I'm a family support specialist at Roberta's house, part of the
Awesome,
Hope
ladies.
team.
Awesome, ladies. Thank you very much for introducing yourselves. And again, the ones out here viewing, this is the Hope team. I'm the program manager for the program. And I just want to start you off with just explaining to you exactly what HOPE means. HOPE is an acronym for us, and it means healing ourselves through peer empowerment. And because this is October, which is actually Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, we've decided to do a segment about what we do here at Roberta's house and the importance around celebrating this particular cause and bringing awareness to it. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of information in regards to what we do here at Roberta's house and the Hope team. So HOPE, we provide home visitation for women that experience loss from pregnancy and infant up to 1 year of age. The home visitation component of it, it goes from, we can stay with a mom up until 1 year to service her to help her through her grief journey. She's assigned a family support specialist, which is the beautiful lady you see below. And they actually work with her digitally through her process to actually process her grief. We also offer support groups within our organization that are open up into the first 3 weeks of them, and then they're closed. But that's like another part that you can also join to process your grief with a group of women. And we've learned that that's very effective when they actually do both. But some women opt only into support groups or vice versa. But a lot of times we normally encourage the mom that's already in home visiting to do support groups. So the combination of dual works very, very well. We also do special events around the year, like this month. So this month we actually have Candlelight Visuals we do, and we do a couple of educational segments that we give information out to the communities. And then sometimes we have fun events for the moms to do throughout the year. It's very important that we bring awareness to this particular month because it's a form of disenfranchised grief. And anything that's disenfranchised is basically taboo. People tend not to speak on the matter. So this particular loss is very, very taboo, especially in African-American communities. We just never talk about it. And we're just taught to sweep things underneath the rug and just move and push through. But it actually affects us at a larger rate than any other race of people. So it's something that we feel really strong about bringing awareness to, and something that we try to do all year round, but October we kind of push it a little bit more. So just give you one of the facts or some of the facts like Miss Latoya was mentioning, the statistic is that 1 in 4 women will experience a pregnancy loss. And that's something that is very, very common throughout communities in general, but to hear that and to see that I'm 1 in 4 is a really powerful statement. And typically when you have the loss of one baby, it does impact at least 10 people in your family that's going to have some kind of reaction to the loss, because everyone had expectations along with the mom and the dad. So for that part, I'll allow Miss Marcia to elaborate. It's a little bit more on how families are actually impacted and how traumatic it is.
Well, this type of loss is traumatic on the family because one thing it does is it separates and alienates partners, because men and women do not grieve the same, and they often misunderstand each other's grief. It also makes them unavailable mentally and emotionally. It gives them a sense of insecurity and vulnerability when there's lack of communication due to pain. It affects Angel Mom's work, her production, her increased absenteeism from work, if not stopping to go to work altogether, lateness. They also will experience change of roles in the family, which is sometimes stressful for the family. is social relationships and willingness to be in social settings, especially if the social setting includes someone who was pregnant or baby shower or celebration of any new life, especially if the person was carrying at the same time the angel mom was. It can lead to a parent having resentment for another person who has had a viable pregnancy. It also has where friends and all feel alienated from one another because one may have supported the first person through a viable pregnancy, and now this person has a loss, and now they don't want to support the next sister that comes along, and that can cause problems. There's always a change in holiday schedules, the way you're going to celebrate, if you're going to celebrate, because this loss now is significant, especially if the loss happened in any timeline close to any holidays or anniversary dates that you had prior in your life. Sometimes one partner no longer wants to get pregnant again. It can affect the romantic life of the couple itself. It also can happen where in order to get pregnant again, they may have to go to second and third phases of trying to get pregnant again, and it also can lead stress. Sometimes it can make an angel mom not even want to try again. So as you can see, the family is highly affected, and also if they have other children, because the children had an expectancy that they would be a older sister or brother or have a sibling or someone else come into the home, and now that has been taken away from them. So that's also another form of traumatic grief as well.
Thank you, Ms. Marcia. You did an amazing job sharing that segment in regards to trauma, and you're definitely correct. It's definitely very, very complex, and it affects you on multiple different levels. So this is very important, the kind of work that we do, because we don't just help mom process, we heal families. And that's a really big deal. And so that's why we encourage women to really, really break through their comfort zones and start to talk about it and say their baby's names, because it makes a difference. And once you start that healing process, especially as a woman, it opens the door for dad, just like mom said. I mean, it's like Miss Marcia said, it opens the door for the dads to start processing their grief. And then once they're in the same unit, if they do have additional children, they can then express that to children and help them process everything that's going on. So yes, definitely did a phenomenal job. And this is why we encourage you so much to break the silence around it. So just in that part, we'll have Ms. Latoya just elaborate a little bit more on why it's so important. Why is it so important that we do what we do, and why we encourage women to break the silence around pregnancy and infant loss?
Everyone, it is important to break the silence around the loss, because mom who have lost their baby, their child, they experience grief in different ways. It can take you through any angles. And it is important for mom, it is important for them to share and to tell their story. The reason why 2.6 million babies are stillborn, and many of these deaths are preventable. And mom who have lost baby in pregnancy can go on to develop mental health issues, can last for months, years. And even when they're ready to have rainbow babies, sometimes if it's not dealt with, they can have problem with having healthy babies. It is important for mom to seek support for the death of their child, because it can be devastating. Families can find comfort and answer, coping strategy through Hope Project, to bring the awareness, to break the silence around infant loss.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Ms. Latoya. It's definitely the same. So what she basically was elaborating on was that it's definitely a traumatic situation, and you definitely need to bring some clarity and understanding to to the loss, and you definitely need that support system because it's gonna help you. And if you don't, and you go on to have additional children, like she mentioned, which was awesome, our rainbow babies, which are babies born after women has experienced a loss. If you go into that pregnancy without processing the loss of your first baby, it makes it very, very difficult, and it also takes away and steals joy and moments from that experience. So is definitely something that you should do. You should definitely reach back in and try to get as much support with this loss, and actually feel free to speak, on it, because as she said, it's 26,000 babies. That's a lot of babies annually that we are losing to one particular form of pregnancy loss. So thank you, Miss Latoya. Is there anything she want to add, or you okay? We good?
As well as emotional support, the opportunity to talk about the loss, talk about their loss, and you know, because everyone grieve in their own ways, because everyone have different journeys. Um, we like to also say the baby's name because it's very powerful, that our children will never be forgotten.
Yes, I agree. So we always encourage women to speak their babies' names, even if, excuse me, you felt like you didn't get a chance to name your baby. We always encourage you to say that it's never too late. Whatever name you decided, even if it was just a last name or a name that reminds you of something, it's powerful to speak life over life, because at one point the baby did live. So we just want to encourage you guys to constantly speak. We encourage women in general, excuse me, to constantly speak their babies' names, because the names hold power, and it's a definitely intricate part of your healing. So yes, Miss Latoya, that was definitely correct. Um, and we do have, again, some events that I was mentioning on that we do participate in October. And one of them, we actually do participate and observe in, excuse me, talking over myself today, but we do participate in the International Wave of Life, which is something that occurs all around the world on October 15th. And then Ms. Claris is going to bring a little bit more clarity to the actual event and what we do.
Okay, so as she said, this is a month of infant loss awareness. So we're going to do on the 15th of October, we're going to have our virtual wave of light. So we have a flyer. You can see our flyers on Roberta's House Facebook, and you can also register in advance. It's a public event, and this is for Angel Moms, but also anyone who were touched by the loss of a baby or infant. So we will come online at 7 p.m. and we will light a candle, and we will also allow moms to say the name of the baby in that moment. And we will also have a moment of silence all together. And this is how it's gonna be for our event on the 15th of October. So please share if you know anybody who lost a baby, and anybody who's still, touched by this event in their family. Please share our flyer, and we will be pleased to share that moment with you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Clara. Yes, so that event is October 15th. We ask that you log in as early as 6:30. Some of you may log in a little earlier so that we can just get everything organized and kind of provide instructions on how we're going to be maneuvering through the night. But the Candlelight Visual does start at 7 p.m. And we encourage, normally how the process goes all around the world, they light the candle at 7 p.m. and then you can blow the candle out at 8 o'clock. And then you hold the moments of silence for the baby. So that's something that we're always excited to do every year. And this year it's the first time we're going to do it virtually. So this will be completely awesome. And one of the models around this particular month, and as we're saying, encourage women to speak about their loss, is just breaking the silence. And breaking the silence is very, 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 very important to making this grief no longer disenfranchised. If more people speak about the losses of pregnancy and infant loss, then it will be normalized a little bit more, and then we're able to get women more help. And then hopefully this would decrease the amount of losses that we're experiencing. But this particular topic does go way, it's more way complex than the surface that we're touching on, because there are so many things that go into the maternal health of African American women. But this is just one of the avenues that the Hope team really works on, as far as, excuse me, bringing awareness to this cause. And so I just want you to remember, whenever you're in the month of October or anything you hear about pregnancy and infant loss, just remember to break the silence around it. Talk about it. Encourage your friends, your aunts, your uncle, I mean, your families, uncles, kids, anyone that knows that has been touched, like the ladies were saying, around this particular loss. Encourage them to talk about it, and don't think that you're going to trigger a mom if you bring up the child's name, or if you bring up the child, because we've learned in our process of working through this particular grief that it brings you comfort after a while to actually hear your child's name, because now the reality is that they were here. Because after experiencing a loss like this, that's so traumatic, sometimes it disappears because you don't have a physical child, that you're really sometimes questioning, did this just happen to me? It's just real. So when we speak the names, and and people around us still sharing that love and speak their names, it lets us know that our babies matter and that they were here. And I'm speaking from experience, because I'm also an angel mom. So it brings me joy when I hear people say my son's name. And it really makes me, remember and know that his presence and his purpose, his life and his death meant something. So again, we encourage people to always speak out. We encourage any woman that she felt like she's alone and she doesn't have any support, to speak out, to reach out to Hope. We're here. You see our faces here. We're always welcoming and ready to work with any women. We have ambassadors, which are women that have gone through the entire program, which is home visiting and support groups and training as Roberta's House volunteers, to literally give back. And that's the only fee we ever charged anyone. Our programs are free. We don't charge anything. We just ask that once you receive your healing, you allow another woman to receive that same healing. You extend that hand, that branch, that love. And we always say that we're a part of a sisterhood that we didn't want to be a part of, but we gladly will be our sister's keeper. So, is there anything else anyone wants to share? I know I've been talking a lot, but anybody else want to add anything before I wrap up?
Well, this month right here is very important. And if we educate the community and join together and find ways to help the healing and to take away the taboo and the silence on this, we can make this something that is preventable, be it finding out your underlying health issues that may have contributed to it that you were unaware of, or maybe it was something that has to do with socioeconomics, whatever it can be. All of these avenues are things that we're required to find out now to have better birth outcomes. Mm-hmm.
And I also, I don't want to forget angel dads, because that's been a very, very, very big part that we've learned through our years of doing this, that angel dads, they need love and they don't have any form of support in this particular loss. Like, if a lot of our angel dads have sought help through us, and we've, again, touched the whole families, which is children and dads and moms, grandmothers, aunts. We've been able to reach so far in, because the families have been so welcoming and so open to us. But I definitely don't want to end the segment out without giving much love and praise to angel dads that are actually finding the strength now to speak on their child and actually say, hey, I'm an angel dad and my child mattered and my grief matters, because it looks completely different. And I feel like they are forgotten so much in this process, that when they call, most of the time people call and check on the moms to see how they're doing, but no one really checks to see how dad is doing and processing. And through this process, it can, like Miss Marcia said in her segment part, it can be very challenging on families. And a lot of times families or relationships end after this type of loss. And because of the line of work that we do and how we open it up to everyone, and the mom is so open, we've been able to actually help cope and process with these couples, and they've been able to sustain this, and they're going strong. So we always tell them, either it's going to it's going to break you or make you stronger. And for us, it's made them so much stronger. So our angel dads come back and speak on all platforms if we need them to. They love the program, they love Hope, and they've told us so many times, thank you for helping my wife, because once my wife accepted the help, I was able to then get my healing. And that's very powerful and very profound. And it's something that we don't take lightly. And Roberta's House they just started a men's group. They do have now to have some form of support for men in general as far as their grief. So it's not just specific to pregnancy and infant loss. It's just grief in general that they experience, because men as a whole, they just don't have a safe space to talk about their grief. And society teaches men that they aren't able to express emotion in a way where it's not going to deem them to be non-manly. So again, it's something that I didn't want to forget about. And sometimes again, it slips our brains, but they're a very big component of this Angel Dads too. And they're definitely, we hold a spot. They hold a spot in our hearts in regards to pregnancy and infant loss. So I want to encourage all of you, people that knew about it and people that don't know about it, or people that haven't been touched about it, around it. I'm sure if you really was to dig in your circle, you'll find someone that's been impacted by it, unfortunately. And I just want you to know that it's okay. Ask them about their babies. Support in any way you can. And if you don't know what to say, sometimes holding space and just being silent and sitting next to them is a lot. It's more than you think it is. Just be that loving ear, and you don't always, again, have to have the right things to say. It's okay. Just try to comfort them and ask them, how can I be a service to you? How can I help you through this process? And I'm sure that the woman will be very, very receptive, or the dad will be very, very receptive to your help. So again, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you again October 14th, where we will be continuing on some of the conversation around pregnancy and infant loss, but we'll be interviewing a couple of doulas just to tell you the importance of doulas during your pregnancy. And also women doulas that work with women that have experienced pregnancy loss. So when you are interested in getting pregnant again with your rainbow babies, they have doulas that are bereaved, that are specialized in helping you process the grief part and the pregnancy journey. So if you enjoyed this segment, please tune in again October 14th at 5:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. 6 p.m. on our Facebook Live at Roberta's House. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Make sure pink and blue was part of your attire for the month of October. Let's get
Yes,
the
ma'am. Hashtag pink and blue. Yes.